In this video, we will recommend the top 10 best movies you shouldn't miss in 2023. So check it out. Number 10. I Don't Expect Anyone to Believe Me, 2023. Director, Fernando Frias.
Basta con cumplir una serie de requisitos.
Parece que Juan Pablo está teniendo una pesadilla.
A Netflix film based on the novel of the same name by Juan Pablo Villalobos. The story begins with a young man who, from a very young age, had the makings of a swindler, and who now puts the protagonist, a Mexican who travels to Barcelona with his partner to study literature, in a monumental mess, a high-level business which turns his visit to the city of Barcelona into a kind of crime novel with equally dark humor, one of those that he would like to be the author of. Number 9. Her Body, 2023. Director, Natalie Sizarovska.
Po olympiádě si odpočineš. Prostě nervy. To bude dobrý.
Based on the unbelievable true story. When a spinal injury shatters dream of success as an Olympic diving champion, she goes on to make a name for herself as an adult actress. Professional Czech high diver. Andrea Absolonova's Olympic dreams are shattered when she suffers a devastating injury while training. Forced to leave the sport she loves, Andrea follows a photographer friend of hers into the world of modeling and adult photography, ultimately reinventing herself as adult actress Leah DeMay and performing in over 80 adult films. She died at the age of 27 from a brain tumor. Number 8. Polania IKEA, 2023. Director, Dawid Grail.
To jest świat, w którym każdy kłamie i nazywa się inaczej, albo chociaż chce być kimś innym. Ale...
For the main character, casual love, erotic fantasies, and quick romances are the starting point for a story about the realities in which young people live today. Piotr Czarny is a charming 30-something lawyer. He is constantly chasing adrenaline, women, and parties. His goal was to fill the list of mistresses with names for every letter of the alphabet. His plan is put in jeopardy when a colleague, Olga, the only woman he's completely honest with and doesn't sleep with, gives him an ultimatum. Number 7. Naughty, 2023. Director, Dmitry Suvorov.
जब कोई इंसान बड़ी-बड़ी बातें करता है और बड़े-बड़े काम करने का ढिंडोरा पीटता है, तो इसका मतलब है कि उसी का कोई हिस्सा छोटा है.
20-year-old Elia is a student and a future ecologist. One day, Matvey, the head of a construction company, comes to her university to talk about a development plan on the site of an old forest park. Elia does not hesitate to smash his project to smithereens. Matvey is intrigued by the girl's self-confidence and uses his usual methods of influence. He simply tries to buy her. But Elia doesn't need a sponsor. Then Matvey, surprised by her impregnability, offers Elia a bet. 7 romantic days according to his rules. If after that the girl still decides to leave, he will refuse to build a skyscraper in the forest park. She agrees when Matvey really suspends the design work imagined. Number 6. Fitting In, 2023. Director, Molly McGlynn.
Cervix or vaginal canal.
But the vagina really is just an amazing muscle. You're just going to have to stretch it out.
Follows Lindy, who has just moved into her grandmother's old house with her single mother and is in the early days of deciding to have desire with her boyfriend, Adam. She's taken to the doctor's office to get a prescription for birth control, and one physical exam later, a cold, unfeeling gynecologist delivers news that will turn Lindy's world upside down. Lindy has a rare reproductive abnormality called Mayer-Rokitansky-Kuster-Hauser syndrome, which means she has no uterus or cervix and a shortened canal. While other high school kids are competing in sports, dating, having, and going to parties, Lindy is spiraling away from all of her previous sources of confidence and comfort. Number 5. Agra, 2023. Director, Kanu Bale.
Daddy, please हाँ बोलो.
कॉल सेंटर जो पगला गया है तू.
Guru is in his 20s. He works in a call center in Agra. He is madly in love with one of his colleagues, Mala. Guru still lives with his parents. Their house is divided into two parts. Guru lives on the ground floor with his mother, his father, upstairs, with his mistress. When Guru announces that he wants to marry Mala and make the terrace his future bedroom, promised by his mother to their cousin to make it a dental clinic, everything changes. Frustrations, cracks, and family hatreds burst into the open, symptoms of a patriarchal Indian society marked by multiple. Number 4. Scrambled, 2023. Director, Leah McKendrick.
Kids, meanwhile, you're gonna wait till you're 70 to have a baby with an influencer.
That is accurate, and I'm not embarrassed about it.
A 30-something eternal bridesmaid goes on an empowering and often hilarious journey of self-discovery. Nellie Robinson constantly finds herself between weddings, baby showers, and bad dates. When she begins to feel like the clock is ticking and is faced with bleak romantic prospects, Nellie decides to freeze her eggs, setting her on an empowering journey to a brave new world, where she ultimately discovers the one she's looking for might be herself. Number 3. Bonard, Pierre and Marthe, 2023. Director, Martin Provost.
Rusé, Signac, Puyard, ensemble, on a décidé de révolutionner la peinture moderne. Rien que ça.
Based on a true story. A French painter, Pierre Bonard, met Marthe de Méligny. He didn't know this self-proclaimed aristocrat would become the cornerstone of his life and work. From this moment, she became more than just a muse for the painter of happiness, appearing in more than a third of his work. Together, they reached their artistic fulfillment thanks to a colorful love, different from the standards of their time, nurturing the great mystery around their relationship. Number 2. Widow Clicquot, 2023. Director, Thomas Napper.
Found a secret to perfect happiness. I am hopelessly, unequivocally yours.
In the midst of the Napoleonic Wars, young Barbe Nicole Clicquot-Ponsardin is widowed at just 27 by her husband. Her father-in-law, the small businessman Philippe, had founded a small champagne production house in 1772. He only wants to sell the vineyards to prevent the winery from going under. However, Barbe Nicole asks to be allowed to continue running the business. With the help and advice of Louis Beaune, a wine merchant, the widow begins to face a series of obstacles, which prohibits them from selling their chamanière to other countries. Their business relationship also becomes a private one, which is not entirely easy as they often clash, and Barbe Nicole is always thinking of her late husband. Number 1. Passages, 2023. Director, Ira Sachs.
Maybe we have to take more risk.
So now you're falling in love with someone else, you're taking that risk.
Filmmaker Thomas lives in Paris with his Martin, and they are seemingly happy. However, Thomas becomes involved in an affair with the young teacher Agatha, which is crossing a red line in his relationship with Martin. However, he only realizes this when Martin himself has an affair with someone else. Suddenly, Thomas is faced with barely containable jealousy. It becomes increasingly clear to him that he must make a choice: respect the rules of a monogamous marriage or accept that he and Martin can no longer live together.